Hi guys, so today we're going to be looking at the Dash Nails Aquarium nail kit. I believe I have mentioned Dash Nails previously, either in my magnetic nails video or an aquarium nail video or TikTok video or something like that. But regardless, you may have also seen them elsewhere because they make really great press-on aquarium nails and they came out with their own kit and a tutorial on how to do it, so I thought that would be fun. This is a different method than I have tried before, so I am really excited to try it. Now, I bought this off of Etsy, but I was buying the new BallPit Nails Wicked Nails collection because I love BallPit Nails. We've tried to recreate some of her designs before, and I wanted to support her in her first collection, and I actually saw that she carries the Dash Nails Aquarium nail kit on her site as well, so I thought that this would be a very good pairing. So we will get into the aquarium nail kit in a moment, but I figured we would just go ahead and swatch the BallPit Nails collection. I guess I should say Wicked Nails collection. This is such beautiful packaging, by the way, and it is so nice. It just slides out like so. So you get 8 gels: Poltergeist, Boothang, Slime Time, Goosebumps, Ghouls Night Out, Seance, Pumpkin Juice, and Creature Feature. We'll start off with Poltergeist. Ooh, very pretty. I don't think we're going to be able to see this super great on this test nail just because it is clear, but I imagine that this one is like an amazing topper. You guys know I love when nails have like super tiny little reflex, especially with the blue, and this blue looks a little bit lighter than a lot of the other more really bright UV looking blues. Looks a tiny bit more turquoise than like cobalt blue. So I obviously do not have regular test swatching sticks. I feel like I run out of them so quickly. So now I'm just using sizes in my nail tips that do not fit me, which is a great thing to do with them because, you know, there's going to be multiple sizes whenever you get a whole set of tips that are not going to fit you. So it's a great way to use them without just like completely wasting them. Now we have Boothang. Pretty. And for the most part, I'm pretty much just going to do one layer of everything. This one has really tiny little shimmers in it. Next up is Slime Time. And this one is such a unique color. Actually, a lot of these are. Nowadays, there's not going to be a lot of really unique colors of gels that you don't see super often. But this green is both like green and highlighter yellow. But it almost looks like it has a white base, if that makes any sense. Like it's not as bright as it could be, but it is still so bright. It's very unique. I don't have a single other color like this. Next up we have Goosebumps. Again, this is a really unique red. It's a muted burgundy almost. And now for our next row, Ghouls Night Out. And the first thing that comes to mind with this for me is just a Barbie pink, but with a cool undertone, not a warm undertone. Next up is Seance, and I already know this one's going to be my favorite. It's definitely what caught my eye when I was looking at the swatches for these. Pretty much my only complaint about these gels so far is this top comes off every single time I open these, and it's not a big deal. It's just something I just wanted to mention. This one is so cool. It is like a jelly black with hollow slivers in them in it. It is so pretty. I love jelly black and I love hollow. So next up we have Pumpkin Juice. And this is a perfect pumpkin color in my opinion. I do believe in previous years that I always had to like mix colors for pumpkins or they would have to be neon. I really like that now I have like a true pumpkin color. And last but not least, we have Creature Feature, looking like a turquoise but more on the green side in my opinion. You know, turquoise might not be the right description for this. I feel like this is one of those colors that does have a specific name that you just don't always know. So here are the final swatches of all of the shades, and this is just one coat. Again, I think that this one is my favorite. I love the hollow slivers in it. You don't see those very often. Definitely not like as common of a shape of glitter to use. I of course also like this one, although I do feel like out of all of my gels, the one that I actually probably already have something most similar to is this one, just because I see something with that like blue reflect and I have to get it. That might just be me. And I think one of the more unique colors is this yellow green color. Is just like not a color I've ever had before. Of course there are similar colors, but I just feel like this one's a bit different. So we will have to use these in some sort of way today. So now that we've swatched these, let's go on to the Aquarium nail kit. So I'm just going to be honest with you guys, this is not my first time using this kit. I tried to film it the other day and it was just a day where I wasn't in the greatest mood and everything seemed like it was going wrong. So I have used it already, but I wasn't quite getting the results that I wanted, and I will show you what I made before we start doing them again. I am glad that I do have a little bit of practice with it to hopefully have a better outcome today, so I'm feeling optimistic. But let me open this and show you everything that comes in this. Of course, it's not going to be packed like how it actually came. You get quite a few practice nails, and this does have varying sizes, so you might actually be able to get a whole set of nails out of it, or two. It's a lot of like practice nails. You were also provided with some like test glitter and some of these little diamond beads. You get the instructions in this little plastic sheet because you will need the plastic sheet for this method. And then on that sheet is all of the instructions. So pretty much you spread the gel on a plastic sheet such as this one. You place the nail on the sheet. You kind of lightly hold it down so that makes sure that the gel gets on all sides and the nail's not like lifting up. You cut the film away after it's all cured. You seal one side, fill it, and then seal the other side, which seems simple enough. And it also tells you for different types of nails for square, coffin, and stiletto. You get the glue, which this is the glue that you use to seal up the sides. I love that these come in these squeeze tubes. I think they are very easy to use that way. Then you get the aqua mix, and this is what you use to spread out on that plastic sheet for the backing. And then you are provided with the oil, which I appreciate. I'm not quite sure what type of oil this is, but looks very clear and I feel like they know best. So whatever type of oil this is the oil I'm gonna use. I did make, like I said, a couple nails. I first did a practice nail with the stuff that they provided, so with this tip, and it does work. Look at that movement. This just was a little bit messier looking than I would like. It's pretty hard to actually fill up this back bit. They make it look so easy in their videos. So that's definitely something I'm struggling with. But otherwise, I love how clear the backing is. It's very clear and it is pretty easy, I would say, to do the backing at least. I think where I went wrong was I wanted to do stiletto ones and I wasn't getting as much movement as I wanted because there just isn't as much room in stiletto nails, of course, and I'm wanting to put bigger things in these ones, like the little clay pieces, like these eyes, and bigger glitters. So I did get movement, but again, it just wasn't exactly what I was wanting. And the stiletto ones are kind of hard because per the instructions, you're basically supposed to just seal up the whole thing and then make a tiny hole and fill it, and that just made a mess for me everywhere. And I feel like it was a little bit more difficult that way. I do feel like when I did the practice nail on that coffin, that was a bit easier. So today I will do square nails, and the problem with this one, again, like I said, just filling in this bottom part, that was the hardest. And you know, there is movement for sure, but I got too much air in there with just having to fill it through a tiny hole, and again, not enough movement because it's a stiletto nail, and that's all on me. So I'm going to do square nails instead today, that way we have a lot of room. So really quick, I'm going to go over what tips I'm using and why. So today I'm going to use the 5XL square tips from Nail Couture, and I think that these are perfect because they have a really high apex and a really tight C curve. There's going to be a lot of room to fill in here. You see how much area we're going to get. Now I do have flatter nail beds, so I will have to fill in a lot of this space. whenever I put them on my actual nail, they should go about like that. And you see, even I have nails on already, and this is still so much higher, but this will give us the most room to put things in our aquarium part. So I am going to use these. You can also use the famous square, which I feel like is an in-between length and curve between the 5XL square and the maximum square that I normally use. So actually what I'm going to do is just take a moment to compare all of these for you, because I know it can be really confusing. I love e-nail couture, but the sizing system definitely is confusing. Okay, I made a better way to show you guys. So these are all size zeros. This is the 5XL, the famous, and the maximum. So I'm going to show you guys the curve on these. And this will go for the stiletto shapes or any other shape in these lines. 5XL versus famous versus maximum. They'll all carry the similar characteristics of how long they are and the curve and like how high the apex is. So just remember that. I'm trying to show as best as I can. So for the 5XL, it actually is higher up. It has a higher apex. You can definitely see there. And it is also a bit wider. So if you have wider, flatter nail beds, I would recommend going with the 5XL over the maximum if you're wanting to do things like this and want more room or want just like that really structured look, because these ones are definitely more tapered in and they might pinch your fingers a little bit, which you don't want. And since they are wider, but they go to the same type of curve, they will be a little bit flatter than these ones. The curve on the famous line is definitely a bit more pronounced, but it is similar to this. I feel like the difference on how tall the apex is on these is quite different. You can really see I'm trying to do the best I can to keep everything level, but you can really tell. So I hope that this was helpful, even if you're not interested in doing like the aquarium nail part. I hope this was helpful for if you're trying to look for tips of which ones to get, and it can be a starting off point for which ones you need, because everyone's nails are so different. Finding comfortable tips that you like is really important. I always wear the maximum, but it's just for this, since we're doing the aquarium nail today, I'm going to use the 5XL. But you know, if you have really curved nail beds, I would recommend the famous line. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you guys want me to kind of go through all of my e-nail couture tips, because I have a lot of them, and show comparisons like this, because I do wish that there were easy comparisons like this when I'm looking on the site. We'll leave my detour now and get on with it. I'm going to size out my 5XL tips. I know that I'm doing this over my current nails, but if you have flatter nail beds and you're wanting to use more curved full cover tips, I would recommend sizing up so that your nail bed has the room and it's not quite pinchy. Okay, so let's get started. So we are gonna first start off with the aqua mix, and I'm going to just try to see about how high I need to put it. We want enough room to put our nail afterwards, but want to have as much of this as possible. So I'm gonna do it to about there, and then a little guide like that. There we go. Perfect. Going to squeeze out some aqua mix. Again, love that these are in squeezy tubes. So much easier to use. And then we want to spread everything out evenly. I might end up needing a little bit more, but I'm trying not to waste it. We want the layer to be thin, but we don't want it to be too thin because we don't want to accidentally like punch through the back. There we go. Now we grab our nails and put them down as far as we want it. But you want to leave a little bit of space in between because we do have to cut through it. They do say to cut instead of like file, which I totally get why. Filing, it definitely starts to leave room for error and like accidentally filing into it, so I totally get it. You want to leave a little bit of room, enough for scissors to get through, but not too far apart to where you're like wasting a ton of gel. You can also do this one by one, but I figure if you can do it all at once, why not? Feel like that looks good. Might be able to get that one up a little bit more. You know your own nail beds and how much room you need. And then to me, everything looks sealed except maybe this tiny little spot on the side right there, much better. There we go. Then I'm just going to lightly hold them down while I cure it. And then we'll need to peel this off, which is so satisfying. I don't know why I love it so much, but I love just the fact that these are all attached like this. So fun. But now we have to separate them. These are embroidery scissors. These are just like really cheap ones, and I feel like they work great. And you can see this little backing is pretty solid. Definitely takes a little bit of time to just get really close to the nail. So I have all the extra cut off now. If you're having trouble getting these sides really slim and like really cutting down to the tip, you can also use an X-Acto knife. Just be careful and just like slide it away from you on it, and that makes it pretty easy to do. And there's also less risk of like putting tension on that back part and having it pop off. So there's that. Now, in their tutorials, they go in with the glue and they kind of just squeeze it on and then brush it up. I personally found that that is very difficult to do, and this isn't quite thick enough for me to be able to do that. So I did make some pieces to help me seal the bottom. Now, I'm not necessarily using these pieces to like seal up. They're pretty thin, just really to help myself not get crazy with the glue, because it just got everywhere when I tried it previously and they got really messy. Like you can see on this one, I had to put so much to seal it up, I think because it's just such a big area, but just squeezing it, and I just wasn't able to squeeze it in and then just pull it up and have it stay. It kept separating from the walls of the tip. Also, I may have accidentally got a hair on this. My bad. But these are really just to help me seal it up without making a huge mess. So once I have that there and that little bit of wall is there, then I can much more easily go in with the gel glue and just actually seal it all up. It's like you want to get it into all of the grooves and everything. I'm actually just going to squeeze some of this glue out on here. That way it's a little bit more precise. I wish I could do it the way they do it with just squeezing it like straight on and curing. Just maybe I'm not quick enough to do that. It's just so like you gotta be really coordinated. You know, I suppose looking at it, it's okay if it doesn't look perfect because we will be covering it up with some sort of like art or something like that. But I do wish it looked a little bit nicer regardless. I want to seal this up here all around and on top. And then for this, I'm gonna just snip it off. And I'm coming around and doing at least 2 layers of the gel after putting that like initial wall, because you need it everywhere, in every little crevice, otherwise it absolutely will leak and you'll have no idea where it's leaking from. So I'd rather put too much than not enough. The good thing is that this gel is very clear, so even though you're putting like multiple layers and stuff like that, it doesn't really look like it once you put the liquid in. So I'm definitely not skipping the process of one whole nail because it ended up in a disaster, and instead just do that one off camera and just learn from my mistakes on that and start on this one. That definitely did not happen. So I have all of these fun little clay pieces, and I kind of want to do the same thing that I did on this nail right here with the eyes. So I think for this nail, I'm going to do the eyes because I love that. I don't know, kind of like nails. Nope, not nails in a jar. Eyes in a jar. Put that in there. Is it going to fit? Okay, it does fit. But barely. There we go, that one's a little smaller. I'm gonna do 2 because eyes typically come in sets of 2, so that just seems right. And then I'm gonna use these glitters from Glitter Planet. I like the circle theme with it since eyes, you know, circles, and this matches the colors of the eyes, so I'm gonna put some of these in here. And then some purple. Okay, that's all I'm going to fill it because I don't want to overfill it. So their way to do this is, again, just sort of like squeeze it and close it that way, but that's a pretty big space to do. So I'm just going to do that a little bit to like half of the top. That way it's just a little bit smaller of an area to seal in once the oil is in there. Learning from my mistakes, I'm going to start off with just a small drop of oil and let that sit at the bottom, and we'll see if anything leaks. Do it on the sides, see if anything is leaking. That way it's not just like straight pouring out if it is leaking. Dry, pretty dry. Of course, don't want to speak too soon, but I think it's safe, so I'm gonna continue filling it and then clean the top and then seal it and cure. I think it's sealed. Is it gonna move? Yay! Look at that, you guys. So exciting. It actually works. Yay. Okay, 1 solid nail down. Okay, so next I kind of want to do a nail inspired by that jelly black hollow gel. And look at how pretty this hollow glitter is. Most of these glitters are from Dumb Blonde Glitter, by the way. I try my best to link everything I'm using, but you can also just find her on Etsy. You can just search Dumb Blonde. I think she has it under cosmetics though now instead of glitter. And I just think this one is so pretty. Then I think I'm going to put these hollow candy wrapper shaped glitters in there. Again, I don't want to overdo it. I already felt like I maybe put a little bit too much glitter in the previous one, so I definitely don't want to do that. So I'm going to just put those in there. But I want to be able to see like what the glitters are. Okay, then for this, I'm going to try to just get a little scoop and yeah, you know what? I'm gonna just put the nail in there. That way it'll catch whatever underneath. Oh, I'll brush it off. I'm gonna pre-cover again. That was helpful for sure. All right, so once again, I'm gonna just put a little bit in here and we will see if we're gonna have any issues. This side and then this side. See if there's gonna be any leaks. Dry, dry. I think we're okay to continue. Let's close it up now, quickly into the lamp. All right, too much glitter in here, but I don't care. I like it. It's so pretty. There's also pretty much no air bubble in this one, so it moves very slowly, which I kind of like. Okay, next up, let's put one of these Scream masks in the next one. Maybe just one. How about that? I'll actually tone it down on the glitter this time on this one. Feel like I'll compromise and I'll put this one big chunky one in here, but then I'll put this glitter, which essentially once it has any oil on it, it looks clear until you see the reflect. So even if you put a lot of this one in, it doesn't end up looking like there's that much. There we are. And then let's do a test. Okay, good to go, I think. All right, let's do it. Yay. Oh, it looks kind of funny distorted, doesn't it? That looks funny. Yeah, look, you can barely see that glitter. You can definitely still see the mask and stuff. So I want to put some bats in this one. I'm going to take this. Here we are. I want the bats. And then I'm going to take this red glitter that spilled in my scrapped video that I have not cleaned up yet. So I'll just use some of it. There we are. And then I'm going to do a test. Oh, it's leaking. It's leaking. Oh wait, or was it just sitting in that thing? Okay, just kidding. It wasn't leaking. I had accidentally just set my little test swab into oil when I set it down last time. False alarm. All right, so we have all 5 nails completed. Hopefully you guys can see a little bit better since they are clear right now. This is what I ended up doing with the thumb, which I actually really love. I love the eyeballs. This one looks funny, like distorted. This one definitely has too much glitter in it, and I like this one. Can't really tell that there's bats in there, but that's okay. So these do need to be cleaned up a little bit, put on, and also we need to do the nail art on top. But for me, I am done for today and I will be back tomorrow. For you guys, that's in like 10 seconds. I feel like it's nothing new. If you do your own nails, you end up doing it over multiple days most of the time. So I'm gonna come back fresh tomorrow. And yeah, so let's get to that. All right, next day, I've had a change of nails on this hand. I absolutely love these. I've also cleaned up the nails a bit. They were looking a bit chunky, so I very carefully went and filed the sides and I filed underneath a bit. Now I definitely did not leave myself enough room at the bottom to fully cover my nail, almost, but not quite, you know. I feel like I had enough room, but then once I put a ton of this gel on the inside, there wasn't enough. So what I'm going to do is put it as far as I can, and then I'm filling in the rest with polygel. And this isn't a crazy technique. People do this all the time with just even regular full cover tips to make it look more flush and natural, so this is fine, although these things are quite heavy. I'm liking them a lot more now. I was a little discouraged when I finished yesterday because they just looked so chunky, but now that I came back fresh and I filed them and nothing leaked, I feel much better. They don't look quite as crazy, so I'm really excited to decorate these. So I'm going to put on my peel off base coat because I will be absolutely devastated if I cannot keep these afterwards. So a good layer of jello is going on. Also, these are quite heavy. It probably would have been a better idea to do these tips, which these are the maximum square, and not quite have them be so thick. But I really wanted the movement in there. You guys know with my aquarium nails, I'm never good at getting a lot of movement. So this set may not be the most practical to wear, although I definitely will wear them until they, you know, pop off. But I really wanted that movement in there, and we got it, thankfully. There we go. So this one almost fits on entirely, so we only have to fill in a little bit. For my full cover tips, I've been using the Apres Extend Gel Novice, and this is so far, I think, my favorite thick gel glue. Essentially, this stuff sticks on super well and it lasts really well too. Sometimes with some thick gel glues, I know they don't stick very well for me, like on the tip, like the tip will peel off, but this has not happened for me. I feel like it's almost stickier than other gel glues because once I put it on, there's never any air bubbles. Like, because this one's heavy, it might lift up a tiny bit here, but with a regular tip, never. Like, it's one that you can truly just like stick on and mess around and then put it in. Also, in my last video, I mentioned the HEMA-free gels, and I didn't realize how many of you were going to be interested in that. I am, like I already said, working on a video for it where I can actually recommend the HEMA-free products and not just try them, because if you've developed an allergy to HEMA, you likely have way too many nail supplies that you can no longer use. So I don't want anyone to waste even more money on like products that aren't the best. So I'm trying them all extensively before I recommend them, and this is HEMA-free, by the way. Also, if you are not allergic to anything but you are concerned and you just want to like lessen your exposure to HEMA, you can also just be purposefully buying the HEMA products, but do keep in mind that HEMA is not the only thing you can become allergic to. I just wanted to add that in there, that this is, because I feel like on a lot of these gels, it's not as obvious as I think it should be on like the labeling or advertising. So we'll just get all of these on very quickly. Before I do the poly gel on top though, I'm putting just a thin layer of base coat on here just to like attach these, just to help it stick a little bit better. I do have some glitter left on this brush from the polygel, but that's fine. Some of these will need a little bit more polygel than others, but that's okay. And the pinky doesn't really need any. Then to fill in the bottom, I'm using Evie's Patty Gel in Sweet Life. I need to grab her clear one. A clear would probably be better for this, but oh well, I'm gonna just use this one. This is the clearest one I have from her. And if a little bit of the glitter shows at the bottom, that's totally fine with me, because I still don't have a like solid plan for what I'm gonna be drawing on top of these. Now let's file. I love these little mini sanding bands. Okay, yay, they look so good, and look at the movement. Everything moves. So exciting. Now the only thing is, what am I going to draw now? Because I am going to do some nail art, nothing crazy. I'm gonna grab out my little Miss Millo cake gel. That way I can do everything in white before I put any color on top. I am going to start off with a base coat though, just that way everything is nice and smooth. Hopefully we'll really be able to see how nice this is all gonna look with this base coat. Should help us see a little bit better, make everything more clear. I am trying to do a thin layer of it though, because these nails are so heavy and thick already. Thankfully they don't look too thick from the front, but you know, the side is a little wild. Ooh, it looks so good. It is so clear. It'll look even clearer when we have a top coat on the back too. I think that for this nail, I want to do some drippy slime, so I can use that really cool neon green yellow. All right, what do we think? I feel like, of course, you're gonna still see some of like the split in between. I might need to go a little bit lower with these. You know, I don't know if I want to. I feel like it's fine. Okay, there's the base. So let's get this green out. Ooh, so bright. It's also looking like it's self-leveling really well, because we can see that the white sort of left unevenness, and this is like evening it all out. And then I want to outline the slime and give it a little highlight. I think that'll be cute. All right, I obviously had to touch up that black liner. I don't know what was going on with that, but it looks so much better now. So I think that this looks good. Let's add the top coat, and I'm gonna add the top coat to the top and the back too, and that should make it all super extra clear. Here is the nail. Let's move on to this one now. So if you don't remember, this one has candy wrapper type glitters in here, and I want to see how it would look if we put this shade underneath it just to add more of the hollow and stuff. I know there's a lot of glitter in this one, but I just gotta see. Okay, tried to shake it off real good because I don't want a huge layer of this. Well, that doesn't look too dark or anything. Oh, it barely adds like a little tint. I want to try to get more glitter. This room gets kind of cold overnight right now, so they're probably all sunk into the bottom and don't want to move up. All right, I'm going to keep that. It does make it look dark, but it does also add a little bit of that extra hollow. Then for the front, I'm going to use the same gel, and I'm going to ombre it into the tank area. Now that I have that on, let's do the base coat. For this nail, I kind of want to just do a couple like little candies to pretty much just match the shape of the glitter. Okay, I think that's a pretty good outline. I think I'm just going to do those two because I really like all the different hollow going in this nail, and I think that this covers up the transition very good. Then I'm going to use like 4 colors just for the little candy details. I think I'm going to do one like striped, and then I'm going to do one polka dotted. I feel like these are looking so cute. They're really easy to do too. Like, I could not outline them, I'm going to, but I feel like if you're a little bit better with the placement, these are really easy designs. And I'm just going to finish these off with a really, hopefully, thin outline. And that's it. I only want to do little things for the nail art on top of these because I feel very accomplished with these aquarium nails, so I don't want to cover too much up. And I do not know why I'm so shaky today. Like, my hand is just so much worse than normal. I feel like the dark background on this really made all of the hollow pop even more so. Like, it looks so sparkly, so hollow. I have no idea what to do for the Scream Mask nail. I think I might just move on and do this one because I have no idea. So starting off on this one, I want to use this gel on the back. Just add some extra shimmer. I think that this eye one is my favorite out of all of them. I feel like you cannot really see it very much, so let's do another layer. It might be more noticeable once we put like a top coat over the front and we're not in this lighting. I'm gonna put this base coat on, and when I do that, we may be able to see the shimmer on the back more. Or it might just be something that's gonna look good in certain lighting and just not really be able to see it in another. All right, can we see it? Tiny bit. Like, you can see it there. And I'm sure you guys are gonna be shocked to see that for the nail art, I'm going to do an eye. I know, who would have guessed? That's actually a decent circle. Doing even shapes or any nail art at all, honestly, on nails that have a dramatic C curve like these is really hard. It always looks distorted if you're like not looking at it face on, basically. And then for the center of the eye, I'm gonna use this turquoise-ish green, or should I use the blue? Ooh, that's hard. I think I'm gonna use the turquoise because the blue is really dark and I want to be able to see the pupil in it. And then I will get out the red because I'm gonna make this eye a little bit bloodshot, kind of how my eyes look after staring into these bright lights all day. But I want it just really light. I don't want it like crazy looking. And then just the pupil, the outline, and the top coat. All right, so I'm gonna just quickly run through these. I think for this one, I'm going to add some of the black like I did here, and then maybe a bat on top or something like that. And then for here, I think I'm just gonna put some blood looking type splatter on it because that's the only thing I can really think of. Put there, I might put like maybe red drips on this one. Something like that. I want it kind of to all go together, and these little drawings are definitely more like cartoony, so I don't want it to look out of place, but also none of these match, so it doesn't really matter that much. All right, and we are done. I love these so much. I feel very accomplished that I was finally able to do like an actual aquarium nail and have it look good. I think this one might be my actual favorite. I feel like the splatter is like a good touch on it. If you're gonna do that method where you squeeze it, be careful about not getting it all over yourself. You can always like get a glove and cut out a tiny little bit, put some peel off skin protector. You can do all kinds of stuff, just careful. I decided on these two not to do the cartoon theme because I just feel like it fit better without it. I feel like each one has their own little personality and they all move and they're not too insanely chunky. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know what you guys think of this set, which one is your favorite, and I'll hopefully see you next time. Bye!